this week from somebody in this room. I'm not going to mention any names.
But you look right at the person.
Yeah, I just look right at the person. I'm always
and all them back there.
And all them back there. That's right, we still got back there. Look at we still got all them. Now we got buildings back there. Oh, see, there's another seed that was planted. All them. We got all kinds of people. Okay, so my sister calls me up. Is it okay if I?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all heard on the camera, she said it's okay. So, Autumn calls me up, and or she leaves a text message for me rather, and she says, Cerise, this woman said that she has this way of clearing negative energy from people. And I was like, no, don't go there. I've been in this business too long, and I already know all that hocus pocus stuff and everything. Nobody can clear negative energy from you except yourself and how you think, your own mind.
To clear that up, though, I wasn't going to go to somebody else and not you. I came to you to see if you knew how to do it.
I was going to say that. Okay. And text. Okay. So she sends another text, and she says, because I got back to her and I said, don't do it. And she was like, okay. She was, I was just asking because I'd rather go to my sister and, ask if you know how to do it than go to someone else. And I said, okay, well, yes, I said, there's a way you can get rid of energy and you clear your energy, but it's through the mind. And again, through the power of God. And so she was like, okay. And then it prompted me to talk about it this week. And so I thought, you know what, the mind is such a powerful thing, and yes, the way we think does sometimes block our progress in life. Negative thoughts block certain actions, positive thoughts open up certain doors. Okay, and that's not to say that every positive thought is going to get us somewhere in life, but most times positive thoughts are a lot more opportunistic, obviously, than a negative thought, right? Now, what I want you guys to do, even before we start out anything, I'm going to do a test with all of you, okay? What I want you to do is put your hands, and you guys here on YouTube as well, put your hands in front of you like this, okay? Now, what I want you to do is, be like, Austin, not Austin. Aiden. Right. Okay, so put your hands in front of you like this. Now, what I want you all to do is close your eyes, okay? Close your eyes now. Focus on my voice, and don't go off track of my voice. What I want you to do now is imagine a helium balloon on your right hand, and it's pulling your hand up. Imagine a helium balloon pulling your right hand up. Now I want you to imagine on your left hand, books. On your left hand, weighing it down. Weighing it right down. Now open your eyes. Okay, so now, there's a meaning behind this. There's two of you only. Interesting. Okay, two people in the pod right there who are pretty much at par still, right? The people who have their arms at par, you guys can put your arms down now. You guys are all those who have their arms at par, your personality is very analytical and very kind of not guarded, but suspicious of others.
Suspicious of others.
Yes, and it means that you're probably you're people who could run things very well, like program directors and stuff of that nature, coordinators and everything. Now, the people who had their hands like this are usually people who are very creative. People who, now you guys are like, aw, I wish I had my hands all apart. Are usually people who are very creative, and you enjoy reading books or watching movies and being involved in film and also theater. So, just to let you know, when I did the test, I was like, yes, I'm creative. Okay, so, but no, neither one is better than the other, really, honestly. And it doesn't mean that, for instance, you guys don't like to read books or you guys don't like to be creative. Some of the people who are like this are probably some of the most creative people in the world. But it's just it's the common person, the average person, okay? And it doesn't mean that we can't run programs, us who are spread arms, right? It just means that we are more prone to create things. All right, so that was one test. Now that test actually, imagine, like for you two, were any of you who didn't allow your arms to spread, were you purposely trying not to allow them to spread? It just, they automatically stayed.
Well, my right hand moved a little bit.
Oh, that's
I felt lighter.
okay.
I felt much lighter.
Okay. Well, there you go. Then you're pretty balanced between the two. Yeah. So you're one of those people that could create with a very analytical mind. So yes, and that is just a test to let you know. Now, of course, we didn't have any balloons attached to our fingers. We didn't have, oh, and another thing. Those of us who spread our arms open easily are more susceptible to sensitivity. That's why, if I lined up 10 people who are depressed, 9 out of 10 who are prone to depression, all of them would probably spread eagle. Straight up. But the people who aren't spread eagle and they're pretty much on par with each other are people who don't get depressed often. And it's usually something that will trigger the depression that will cause them to be sad. Do you find that you are pretty much emotionally balanced? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah, Cerise.
Definitely.
I never get depressed. Okay, so that's just to show you how powerful the mind can be, that there's not even a stack of books on our hands and it will just weigh us down. It can get to a point where, you know, we feel like it's actually there, right? So problems and fear and worry will always be right there. Now, negativity. Let's look at negativity. Negativity is something that can become a poison. If somebody constantly thinks negative, some people believe that it draws negative to them. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't believe more negativity is going to come to someone just because they live their life fearful. I believe that they tend to see the negative in everything before the positive. So they become more like pessimists as opposed to optimists. So in other words, if something's going to happen that's supposed to be real good for them, they'll be like, oh, probably won't happen. And then when it happens, I don't think they're any more excited. I think they're probably like, okay, it happened, but yeah, like, the other foot's going to drop soon. You know, where a positive person would be like, no, I really feel like this is going to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, the positive person says, no, that's okay. That's all right because there's another plan. Something else is going to happen, right? And it doesn't mean that, you know, any one is better than the other. It just means that the positive person most likely will be able to deal with things a lot more in life. And because they have less blockages that they're putting up, they can actually see past the negative. Okay, it didn't happen. However, I think there's going to be an avenue here that will open. Okay, so that's where they're opening up and there's no blockages. So let's say you're in a relationship and the guy doesn't call. And you're like, oh, you know what? We broke up before and he hasn't called before. It took him a whole year to call. He's not going to call. He's not going to call. I got to call him. That's a block that you're putting right there. A mental block, and you're preventing this person from calling because you're looking at the negative. And that's where I believe that we can put blocks up. Now, it doesn't mean the person won't call. Okay, it just means you're not. Okay, it just means you're not open to that avenue as much. So instead of him calling in a week, it might take him 2 months because you're not open. Thoughts have energy, okay, and that energy has electromagnetic energy. So when we think positive, we will draw something positive to happen sooner. Okay, so now. When it comes to negativity, did you know that people who think negative a lot more often and they worry a lot more often and they are expecting the other foot to drop, they get sick a lot more often?
Stress.
Stress. You nailed it on the head. So stress causes ailments like headaches, backaches, toothaches even, and they cause shoulder aches, neck aches, anything that is connected to an ache, and I bet you any money somebody just went through something that's negative or they're worried about something. People that you see who are always, feeling pain, and it's not something to do with, just their body, but it just has something to do with an ache happening here and an ache happening there. They're worriers. A lot of them are worriers. If it has something to do with their body, like a friend of mine is very much, she's very unhealthy. She's kind of overweight, and so she, all these other things are now happening to her body. So her body's slowly breaking down. But she's a positive thinker, and she loves God quite a bit. That's very different. Okay, but, and then there's people who have been sick all their lives because of other reasons, but they're very positive, forward-thinking people. So I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about somebody who just automatically gets a headache and they're like, oh my God, I got this headache. They're worried about something. Backache, they're probably stressed about something. Okay? Positive people usually get sick less. So let's say there is somebody who is overweight, like that friend I was telling you guys about. Because she's positive, she may not be on as many pills as the next person who's overweight and on on pills. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right? So, or somebody who's been sick all their life for different ailments, they can actually hold a job down, hold a family down, not get too depressed, and be that strong person for the family because they are thinking more positive. Where somebody with the same amount of sickness thinks negative, most likely will die before they're even 50, and that's how serious negative thinking can affect the body. Doctors know right away when somebody is depressed, what happens is they tend to become ill right away. Okay, so that's why doctors make so much money on pills, and they can distribute all those pills to everyone because they're like, oh, you're depressed, okay. They could actually count the months and know, expect that person to show up in a few more months because they got those depression pills, and the rest of the pills, they're going to have something else wrong with them too. So they know that's a money maker as soon as that person walks in depressed. Now, did you guys know, like I had already mentioned, the human nervous system is electromagnetic. Electromagnetic. That means our nervous system are like nerves. They're like wires. They feed on electricity. So if you ever notice that when you're around somebody that you really like, let's just get back to relationships. And everyone looks at it. Right? But relationships. When you're around someone that you really like and you feel like that person makes you feel so excited inside and you're like, oh, I really like them. That is actually your electromagnetic energy and their energy coming together as opposed to repelling. That's what it is. And then that energy, that electromagnetic energy starts to ignite and send off signals in the brain. And then the chemistry starts moving. So we're like machines. That's exactly what our bodies are. So when we are thinking negative, we are actually letting certain chemistries, chemicals off in our brain that's sending signals to our body saying, yeah, I'm sick. I'm depressed. And the body says, oh, she's depressed. Oh my gosh, let's resituate ourselves and get depressed. So what comes along with depression? Illness. Oh, we gotta sleep now because we're tired. Oh, we gotta make sure that our hair starts falling out now because we're depressed. That's what happens. You send the messages to your brain that something is wrong. Same thing happens when you're falling in love. Okay, that same chemistry happens. So that is the electromagnetic energy. I want to show you guys something. Okay, hold on 1 second. These are the little balls. I think I brought them to class before. You guys remember these? Mm-hmm. Okay, these little balls. What I'm going to get into later is something called emotional freedom technique, and it's something that we will do with the brain to change the thinking. But this here has nothing to do with the brain. This has to do with the body and the electromagnetic energy. So what I'm going to be showing you guys in a minute, the EFT it's called, is more for the mind when you're alone. These I take with me sometimes when I'm just out somewhere, and if I'm feeling unbalanced or worried about something, which is not often, it's just like if I happen to go somewhere, and I'll put it like, you know, on a certain area of my body, most likely my knee, if I know I'm going to be working out or whatever, and my knee's going to hurt me, because what happens is it helps to balance the body, the electromagnetic energy in the body. Have you guys ever heard of those magnetic beds? So there's magnetic beds, there's beds, magnetic bracelets, yes. And people who live higher up, like in condominiums and stuff of that nature, they tend to get sicker, more sick than the average person too. So those people always have to make sure that they get out on the ground. The ground has a huge magnetic field because it's gravity. Gravity is magnetic. And so when I moved from a townhouse on the bluffs, where I was out every single day and right by the water and everything, and then I moved to the apartment on the 11th floor, my body started to hurt more. And I was like, what the heck? I started to use the magnetic therapy because I knew it wasn't mental. As I meditate and I think positive, and then I was like, you know what? I need something for my body itself because I'm not getting the proper amount of gravity, the proper amount of electromagnetic energy that I need to get. So I'll put these on me. You know, sometimes if my knee's really hurting me at nighttime, I'll sleep with it, and I'll fall asleep with it underneath my knee, like that. Okay? So these here are really, really good. I'm going to pass them around the room. You guys just take a look at them. Put them somewhere, like you can even do this. So it really does feel good. Like it's just, Let me tell you guys, where it's really good is if you try it on top of your head, shoulders, also the joints, on the hands, on the knees, okay, but in the middle of the knees, okay, and on the ankles. And those are perfect points to put it. Any point that moves or bends. And also, obviously, the neck. Yeah.
They have.
You know what? What I do is I'll take, like, if my back is hurting me, which happens often, obviously, I will take a belt, one of those thick belts, and I will put it on a belt and tie the belt around me. And as I'm doing my house cleaning or whatever, I will definitely have it on for no less than a half an hour. And yeah, so a good 30 minutes, you know. If you are like, you know, just sitting there or something, you can actually put a scarf around your neck and put it on with the scarf. It really works. And it also helps put you to sleep. For those of you who don't get to sleep easily, $5 each. And I would suggest that you grab 2 of them. If you can. If you have any ailments at all, they can be passed around the family, obviously, because you don't use them every day.
I have the ones that have the things charms.
Yes, those are not for magnetic energy. Those are for meditation. Now, how do we make our mind more powerful than matter? You know, mind over matter? Through, of course, helping pains go away through magnetic energy. Also, through meditation. So those meditation balls are awesome then. Okay, they really come in handy because it gives you a moment to calm yourself. Remove that negative energy. Don't worry about the problem that's around you. A lot of people, I had one client before that said to me, Cerise, meditation doesn't help me because when I'm meditating, I think about the problem. And I'm like, you're not meditating. You are pondering your problem, right? You are thinking. And she's like, well, what's the difference? And meditation, obviously, I had another client that said to me, I can't release my thoughts. It's like one thought comes in after the other. So there's no way we're ever going to be able to necessarily put our mind to rest unless we are dead. Because our minds are the energy that keeps our body moving. However, there is a possibility that you can slowly get rid of that thought. Okay? How we do it is through, again, emotional freedom technique, which I'm going to get to in a second. But also heightening that electric energy. How do you heighten the electric energy? Well, there are a few ways. Again, the magnets. Also, exercise, believe it or not. Exercise helps because it gets the body pumping. It's like it heats the body up. So it gets that exercise there. Also, you want to know what else? You know who has real high electromagnetic energy? Healers. Healers. So like they say psychics, right? But I don't like to use that word psychic because I believe we are all somewhat psychic. I didn't know that was locked. Sorry. You're welcome. I don't like to use the word psychic because I believe we're all somewhat psychic. So healers is what I like to use. And we all have the ability to heal. How do we heal? Well, some people are better at it than others, but we all have the ability, and it's through compassion. Okay, so through compassion, when you're feeling sorry for somebody, that actually heightens your electromagnetic energy. So if you want anything positive to start happening in your life, you want to remove those blocks, gain good karma by doing something nice for someone else. You don't have to lend them money, you don't have to go spend time with them, you don't have to, give them something or be kind in that way, but you definitely have to feel compassion for them. And electromagnetic energy is a huge part of the nervous system, the human nervous system. Okay, so how do we increase the electromagnetic energy is through magnets, through thinking positive, and also through compassion, healing others, and exercise. But now also through reprogramming the brain. Have you ever heard, or anyone ever heard in here, of emotional freedom technique?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And Feldenkrais.
Okay.
That reprograms the brain too.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice. Okay. Well, EFT is something that I'm going to show you guys right now. It's going to look a little funny. Okay? I'm just going to warn you. So what you have to do is you have to grab your head like this, I'm joking.
It's funny.
No, but it is, what?
See, this is just so much better than text messaging, right?
Okay, so what you have to do is, what it is it's reprogramming your mind. So you think about the negative, then you only do this really when something negative is going on in your mind that you're really worried about. Okay, so you get the negative phrase, first of all. So you think about your problem. And then you get the phrase in your head. And then you think about how much, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's really affecting you. So you rate the feeling. There's different points of the body that we're going to tap. It's called tapping. Okay, that's what it's called, tapping. And we're going to tap certain points of our body. They are also, it's also like acupuncture. Acupressure. Acupuncture is when they put those needles in certain nerve endings, or they press on certain nerve endings. Like I learned the other day that if you have a backache, you can press right here, or you can go like this, and it's supposed to release the chemistry in your brain to take away your backache, okay? So that's kind of like how this works. So, EFT, what we're going to do is all of us right now, think of a problem in your life that you want to go away. Does everyone have their problem? Oh, everyone has a problem, do they? Okay, now rate that problem from 1 to 10. And the reason why we're going to rate it is because when we're finished the technique, you're going to rate it again. Okay, so rate it, 1 to 10. Is it bother you that much? Is it something that you had to actually remember? Or was it at the top of your head like, yeah, that's a problem, I'm really worried about it? Okay, so if that is it, then it's a 10. If it was a little problem that you had to dig up and think, okay, yeah, that could be a problem, then it's just a 1. Okay, so anyone care to share their problem right now? Because that's the one I'm going to use as the example.
The anxiousness, my chest is tight and sometimes my pulse races.
Okay, anxiousness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay, so now what we do is we pick a phrase for that problem. And so with Christine, it's okay if I put your name on here? Okay, so with Christine, what I would do is, I'm going to make a phrase for her anxiety now. And it is, and it's usually a negative phrase, which I have an issue with kind of, because I like to say all positive things all the time, but it's important to say the negative, okay? So the negative phrase is, I have this anxiety that makes me afraid. Okay? So that's what the phrase will be. I have this anxiety that makes me afraid. Now, there's 10 points on the body that we're going to tap. These are the points. The karate chop point, and then, that's the one we start on. We're going to do it 3 times, but I'm going to get to that. The next point is on top of the head. Okay, the next one is right here. The eyebrow, they call it. The next one is right here, the side of the eye. The next one, eye socket, right here. Doesn't matter which side you guys choose to do it on. Both sides are okay. You don't have to do it on both at the same time. Use 2 fingers though, so you know you're getting the right area. Okay? The next one is right under the nose, right here in this groove. Next one, in the dent of the chin, right here. Okay? The next one is the collarbone. Now, the collarbone, and how you can really know that you're getting the right point is kind of put your 4 fingers right there. And then you get these 2 fingers and you kind of know right there. But that's what it is. Okay? The next one is for the women, right here, where the bra strap is. And for the men, it would be like just kind of under the arm. All right, so right on your bra strap is where you want to hit. Okay? And the next one is the wrist one, which is 3 fingers down. So right there. Okay? So those are 10 spots, right? Am I correct? I got all the 10 spots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The karate chop.
When you're saying the phrase for me, I just want to suggest that anyone could take their problem and insert that and just think, like, concentrate on your problem instead of mine, and it works the same way.
That's what I want you to do. Thank you for clarifying that. So I want you guys to...
Wait, when we tap ourselves, do we have to say the thing?
Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to say it in our head, but I'm going to say it out loud just to give you guys an example first. So what we're going to do is, how do you ignite it is you first hit the karate chop and you say your problem 3 times. And then you say another phrase with it. So you would say, even though I have this problem, I completely and fully love and accept myself. And then, I am afraid of this anxiety. I'll just keep it simple. I am afraid of this anxiety. Then we go to the tapping points. I am afraid of this anxiety. And then we go to the next one. So let's all do that right now, and we'll go through all the points. I want you to think about your issue. So what I'm going to do is actually not say Christine's out loud, okay? Because I don't want to distract you guys. All I'm just going to do is tap, okay? So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say the first phrase with you guys. Even though I have this problem, I fully and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this problem, I completely and fully love and accept myself.
We could do that all the way through. We don't even need to say my problem.
No, you would say your problem when you go through the tap. So we do this 3 times, and we say I love myself. So even though I have this problem, I love and I accept and I love and accept myself fully and completely. All right, but it doesn't matter. As long as we completely and fully love ourselves and love and accept ourselves completely and fully, it's good. Right? Okay, so you do that 3 times. Then after you do that, you go on to the points. So again, I'm going to go silent now with your problem, and you guys all now take it to the top. You don't say love myself completely, fully, you just say the problem. And when you're finished saying the problem in your head, you stop tapping. And you only do it once. Eyebrow. Eye side. Socket. Nose. Chin. Collarbone. underarm, bra area. Okay. Wrist. Okay. Now, take inventory with your emotions. Take your mind back to that problem. Is it numbed a little bit? Numb a little bit? No? Those of you who are not numb, you have issues and you all have to do it. No, honestly. So, but do you feel like it worked a slight bit?
I feel calm,
Calm.
very relaxed. And, yeah,
Okay. Okay. What did you rate your problem to begin with?
like a 20.
20?
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you. Ladies and gentlemen on YouTube, we're going to get you to teach class next week on it. Okay. So that's good. So yours was a 20. What do you rate it as right now?
Like the first thought that comes to my mind is like a 5.
But then you do your inventory and it starts to come back again, and then it might be 15, and then it might be 40, right. But the key is to tap again, and tap again. And then do the inventory afterwards. Now, obviously, when I found out last week that, you know, when I showed up and Harvey said, yeah, so anyway, this is the last day of your classes, and you won't be having classes here any longer. I'm like, okay, how much time do I get? No, this is your last day today. I'm like, well, where am I going to teach my classes, right? At that point, in front of him, I couldn't start. No, not even. And I'm not going to pull out my magnetic balls, you know, but or start to meditate. Like, obviously, when we're facing that problem dead on, and it's happening at that moment, that's when we draw upon the fruits of the Spirit. Do you guys remember the fruits of the Spirit that we talked about before?
I know.
Which, okay, so they were love, peace, joy, patience, self-control. And then, so there's 9 altogether, and the other ones are kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness. So, at that moment when we cannot pull, do you have them? Want me to say them again?
Love, peace, joy, patience, self-control, kindness, goodness,
Faithfulness. And gentleness. Okay? So, at that moment, again, you know, I just found out that I'm not going to be able to have a place to teach the class any longer. I don't know where else I'm going to. My mind starts going wild and crazy, and he looks at me and he's like, well, can't you call a church? And, you know, and I'm like, well, you know what? And all I could say to him at that point was, can you please hand me a Kleenex? And a tear came, and I wiped my tear, but then I said to him, what doesn't kill me will make me stronger. Because at that point, I drew upon self-control. But at that moment, I was able to draw upon the fruit of my spirit. What I have within myself to be able to say, okay, this is what's going to make me feel calm and cool. Then after that, minutes later, I had to speak to a client. And I had to hold myself in and not worry about my issue as I'm taking care of her issue. And then, a half an hour after that, I had you guys. And I had the class, and it was my last day, so I had to tell you guys it was going to be the last day, and I didn't know where I was going to have it this week. And now look, okay, so what I did was I drew upon faithfulness at that time. And my faithfulness, knowing that I had faith, knowing that I had self-control, knowing that I had patience, obviously I had to draw upon my, my patience, my self-control, and my faithfulness at that time. So when we have blocks in our life, that wasn't even a block that I was aware of. That was an issue that was just thrown upon me. Those will happen all the time. They're good to happen. They make us stronger. They make us more resilient. They let us know what we can handle. You know, like you guys can see I practice what I preach. We did not miss a beat. You know, you ladies, look at y'all, and men, you know, all you guys back there who now exist, you know, we did not miss a beat. Last week we were like, oh, we don't know where we're going to have the class. This week we're like, oh, here we are. And not even, just 7 days passed. So during that time, God always has a majestic plan. When He brings something that seems like there's a block, when there seems like there's something that is preventing us from moving forward, it's a challenge.
Exactly.
It's a challenge. And with that challenge, if we look at it like, okay, you know what, this is a puzzle we have to undo right now, or a puzzle that we have to put together, and we look at it like something that can teach us, we can only get stronger. Let's just think of a puzzle itself. The puzzle, all the puzzle pieces are put in front of you. They're on the table, on the floor, wherever you do your puzzles. I like to do mine on the floor, sitting down. So we get the corners, I get the corners together first, and then I start to match up the colors. And then, you know, the puzzles that have clouds, I'm just like, oh, those clouds I have to wait.
Or sea,
or the sea, the water, concrete, right? So you deal with the things that make sense first. And then things start coming together. And then usually, once you have one piece of the cloud, all of a sudden you get the clouds together and you see that clear sky in the puzzle. You know, and that's exactly what life is about. It's a challenge. It might seem like something, and of course most challenges and hard challenges are not going to seem like a game and fun. It's not going to, you're not going to be like, oh great, here's a puzzle, I'm going to sit down and do this problem. Never is it like that. But how it is we have to look at it as, again, a challenge that we can rise above. We will learn if we're patient and we have fortitude and we go for it, we will learn how to put that puzzle together. So, when we have blocks in our life, anything that's rising up against us, again, we can use our emotional freedom technique. Of course, again, if you're walking down the street and you're feeling that this problem is so anxious and you know, you're having a hard time breathing, you're not going to start going. Obviously, people are going to be like, what the heck is up there?
You could do it mentally.
You can do it mentally. That's right, you can. And then also, you can also repeat the phrase mentally. I love and I accept myself completely and fully. I love, even though this problem is here right now, I love myself and accept myself completely and fully. And you can just repeat beautiful words in your head. Or when you're walking down the street, you can definitely pull out the magnets and, you know, I mean, especially if, you know, you're just walking and you have a magnet in your hand, that's a good point. You know, because the points are the hands, the elbows, and as well as the knees, in the middle of the knees. You know, obviously you're not going to put the magnet up here, but those are good points. You can just, you know, you're driving and you're feeling anxious, right there. You can hold the magnet. And it's not to say that these things are going to help you instead of God, because prayer is the most effective. Getting down on your hands and knees and just meditating and saying, wow, okay, I got to face this dead on. Because prayer, for me, is coming within myself, my own little circle, my own little magnetic energy area, and I block everybody else out, and it's just like God and myself.